I hear many people throughout the day talk about how they feel stuck or they have these goals and dreams and they simply don't know what to do or where to even start to achieve them. If that is you or somebody close to you that you know feels this way, then I need you to watch this video all the way to the end, because today we're going to talk about how you can regain control of your life by doing what is known as a dopamine detox. Many people are not where they want to be simply because they feel like they don't have the knowledge or they don't have the energy to do what it takes to get there. And unfortunately, both of those things are not what is holding you back. What is holding you back, it all stems from focus. The key factor is focus. And when you hone in on your focus, that gives you the ability to gain that knowledge and to gain that know-how so you can accomplish these goals. And on top of that, when you focus on one singular topic or skill, you'll begin gaining loads of knowledge in it, and which will make you enjoy it even more. And when you're going all in and you feel good about this skill, you're happy, you're excited, you'll start to release the good dopamine into your system. And now the question is, what is dopamine? Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter that releases the feel-good chemical in your brain. It's almost like a chemical messenger that sends the nerve cells from your brain to the rest of your body as a feel-good. When you're doing something pleasurable or that you're really into, large amounts of dopamine are released. And this is that feel-good feeling, that addictive feeling that makes you want more. You know, for instance, when you're at the casino and you put it all on red and you hit, loads of dopamine is released, that feel-good chemical, that addictive chemical, and it makes you want to do it more. And that example is a bad, quick, and fast dopamine rush. But there's ways to hone in on the good dopamine that you can release into your body. And this is what we want to focus on. By the end of this video, you'll know how to start your dopamine detox, what exactly it changed, and how to continue with these implementations. So now let's go over to the question, how do you hone in on your focus? And we see this a lot with people that have office jobs. They'll be sitting at the computer, they have their phone, they have two monitors, they have, people walking by. There's so many things that are distracting you that you unconsciously grab your phone and start scrolling on TikTok. Or when you have 2 or 3 monitors in your office and a dozen different tabs open, you tend to bounce around and you're not fully focused on what you're doing. So one of the key solutions to this is try and make it as minimalist and simple as possible. I know depending on your situation at work, it may be different, but say, we're talking about your home office. I know people with 3 different monitors and they have a bunch of different tabs open. One's watching, YouTube, you have Discord and all this stuff, and you're losing your focus every second. By clearing your space and minimalizing everything, it clears your mind. You don't want a million different things stealing your focus, and you can control this. Another way to hone in on your focus while you're working is put your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb mode. I'm sure Android has something similar, but I know iPhone, you can customize your do not disturb mode to allow certain people to contact you during that time or when that setting is in place. So you can really customize it to what you want, so nobody can text you or call you, or certain notifications don't pop up. You know what's stealing your focus. So try and set this up to at least help you regain some of that focus back. And by doing simple things like this to really hone in on your focus, it's gonna carry over, and you'll start to train yourself each day, each week, each month, and you'll get better and better at it. So people ask me, how long should I do a dopamine detox? And primarily, it's up to you. Personally, I do about 7 days. You could do 2 weeks, you could do 3 weeks. You don't want to go too heavy or in too hard and scare yourself away from doing it or overly challenge yourself. Maybe if you're a pro and you've done this a time or two, you can add more on, add more time, more pillars. But to start off, I would say 7 days is a comfortable or reasonable time to do it. So a dopamine detox isn't the way that you're going to be living for months to come. It's simply to wipe the slate clean. It's a strict hard reset to regain your focus, rebuild that discipline level, and really it affects your overall performance. Additionally, you're going to see improvement with your sleep, your stress level, and the overall enjoyment of your life. So for the dopamine detox, there are 5 pillars that I recommend that you follow in order to make this work. I would use this as a guide to create your detox, or, piece things together, whatever fits you. Many people have created different approaches to this system, but you can take whatever bits and pieces of information, put everything together, whatever works best for you. This is simply the system and the pillars that I put together that work best for me. So let's dive in. So pillar number 1, turn your notifications off. As I mentioned earlier, one of the key components and factors of doing a dopamine detox is your focus and learning how to regain and get control of your focus. And by turning your notifications off, that's a great place to start. Generally speaking, most people have a job, they have, a spouse, they have kids, they have extracurricular activities, and all day long you're faced with distractions. Whether you want to call it that or not, there's distractions everywhere all the time. So if you can eliminate some of those by turning your notifications off, why not? As I previously mentioned, that you can create your own do not disturb mode. So cater this to you. I have fitness friends that will create a specific do not disturb mode for when they're working out, or when you're studying, or when you're at school, when you're at work. You can create as many as you'd like and cater it to that time of day. This may sound stupid and it may sound tedious, but when you're trying to get things done and accomplish something, you don't want unnecessary distractions coming in, popping up, and making you lose focus on what you're doing. So pillar number 1, turn your notifications off. Pillar number 2, 1 hour of screen time a day on your phone. So when you're done with this video, or if you want to pause it and go look at it now, but take a look at your screen time located in your settings. Most of you will probably already know this feature, but you can take a look at your screen time and where you're spending most of your screen time on each individual app. And social media is most likely your number 1 consumer. Now I know we live in a digital world today, so you can pretty much do literally everything from your phone, but it depends on what you're using your phone for. So I always like to say, regarding TikTok, if you're not a creator, then you're a consumer. If you're creating for work or to promote something, that's good. But if you're sitting there scrolling all day consuming, you're wasting time and energy. So utilize your time efficiently and effectively. If you're sitting there searching trending topics or whatever, give yourself a time limit to do so. Don't sit there and search for trending topics for 2 hours, or videos to get ideas from for 2-3 hours. When you're doing this, be disciplined with yourself. And theoretically, you can use a desktop to do most of the work, if not all of it, that you need to do. Using your phone itself is a huge distraction. And simply because you subconsciously look at your phone and you're getting distracted and losing focus before you even realize you're losing focus. So if you can do things on the computer, that'll grant you way more focus than doing something on your phone. All right, so pillar number 2, 1 hour of screen time a day on your phone. Moving on to pillar number 3, no video games and no movies, no Netflix shows, nothing like that. Now this one, my friends, is a heavy inducing dopamine hitter. Most people, use video games as an scapegoat. You need to escape your problems, your worries, escape the thoughts in your head running through there all day long. You work all day, you come home, you just want to hop on the game or put on a movie and escape all that. And I get it, I really do. And normally when I talk about a dopamine detox, when I talk about video games, it really either strikes a nerve with people, or it creates the level of transparency which they see like, oh my gosh, I understand what you're saying now, because when I play video games, I get that dub in Warzone that releases the feel good in me. Now I know what you're talking about. If you do your dopamine detox for say a week, you're gonna fight the urge, to wanna hop on the game, or you're gonna fight the urge to wanna put a movie on. But this is critical for doing your dopamine detox, that you eliminate this for the time that you're doing the detox for. The point of this is to reset your dopamine levels so you can find enjoyment with things, such as simply walking down the street and listening to the birds chirp, or hearing the trees blow, or the water in the river flow down. I'm just using these as an example. Find enjoyment from the little things. By the end of your dopamine detox, the urge to want to play the game or put on a Netflix show, that urge will go away. And this is not to say that you can no longer do those things ever again. Remember, this is just it's a hard reset, for a week. We're doing a hard reset to reset those dopamine levels. I know some people use video games or movies as a reward system. So if they get, X, Y, and Z done, then they can, play 30 minutes of video games, whatever. So that's pillar number 3, no video games, movies, etc. So pillar number 4, to say it in a general way, no adult films. I know for some people this is a very bad addictive trait that they have, but if you can go the full detox with watching no adult films, you will train yourself to uphold a lot of discipline. And this doesn't just go for, the 18 plus videos category. I'm talking about, the whole Instagram models and stuff like that you follow, or the TikTok pages, of the half naked people doing whatever. This all falls into the same category. All of this is just a distraction to you. You might be sitting there watching, releasing the dopamine, oh, this feels good, oh, this is interesting, scroll, 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 watch. You're getting nowhere. It's a distraction. Now, if you need to do the thing, use your imagination. That's what it's for. Imagination is everything. The imagination can do wonders, if you learn how to use it. So if you need to do the thing, use your imagination. So that's pillar number 4, no adult films. So pillar number 5 is limit your caffeine consumption. This could be like coffee, energy drinks, whatever. I know people that drink 3 energy drinks a day, and that's just, that's not healthy. And as I said before, this is just my, personal opinion. You don't have to eliminate caffeine or limit yourself, whatever. If you're doing a detox, I think whatever you're doing, you should just completely eliminate it. It's just for the 7 days or whatever. It's not a whole complete lifestyle change. It's just a hard reset for yourself. So I believe during your detox, you should try and eliminate all that, bad caffeine intake. I know coffee is not necessarily a bad thing, but it creates a very high spike in dopamine, and then you ride the wave up top, and then come lunchtime or whatever, you're crashing. So things like that are what we want to kind of reset. Now, I know the main goal here is to separate yourself from what is stealing, your focus and releasing the bad dopamine and replacing it with, the good, more natural dopamine hitters. So, if you feel as if caffeine isn't affecting, you negatively, then by all means, like I said, cater this detox to what works for you and what fits your needs. But for me personally, it was to gain more natural energy and natural focus rather than, needing coffee every day in order to psychologically feel like I'm gaining more energy from that. And other ways that I personally found that helped me was, eating more of a heartier breakfast in the morning. I know some people don't eat breakfast in the morning. I've heard that, people that fast up until like lunchtime, they found that they receive more energy that way through their fasting. That's where their high productivity levels are. That's when they work out, while they're doing their fast. So really you have to trial and error a few things to figure out what fits you and what works for you the best. So that's pillar number 5, limit or eliminate your caffeine consumption. So when you're finished with your dopamine detox, you'll realize that things that you did not enjoy or were a burden before, you'll slowly start to enjoy them and want to do them. Simply walking down the street, and listening to nature or reading a book, you'll get your enjoyment from that, and you won't feel that sense of, I'm bored, I need to pick up my phone and scroll TikTok to receive that, that dopamine hit, that feel good. The baseline of your dopamine stimulation has now completely shifted by doing this hard reset. So the levels of dopamine that you needed to reach in that pleasure line was here, and from TikTok and looking at the half naked dancers or whatever has now shifted, and you gain pleasure from more natural things. You can focus more. That's the whole point of this. That is the dopamine detox. So when you sit down at your computer, the things that you would do unconsciously, just grab your phone and get on social media, or the things that would distract you before will no longer be distracting you. You have regained your focus. You've taken more control over yourself, and you can focus in on what you actually have to get done. You'll feel more in tune with yourself, and your workflow will greatly improve. You'll be more focused. So these are the 5 pillars for the dopamine detox that I use to reset my stimulation levels. So remember, this is a hard reset. 7 days, 14, 21, whatever you want to do to rebuild yourself, rebuild your focus, and regain your energy. So you do the dopamine detox, you figured it out, figured what works for you, and you completed it. And now you're asking yourself, well, what do I do next? And there's this thing called monk mode. And now monk mode lasts longer than a dopamine detox. Monk mode's typically 90 to 120 days, and it's more of a lifestyle change versus a dopamine detox. And when you attach doing the dopamine detox and switching over to monk mode, you will literally be unstoppable. And with this, I've found that, tasks or things that would take you a year to complete, you can complete these things in 3 months. You regain and build so much focus into what you're doing that, like I said, you're unstoppable. I mean, you're putting all your focus and energy into this. You're not dragging it out over time. You're completing everything in, like I said, a few months. So if you want to learn more about my personal monk mode, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss when I drop the monk mode video. So drop a comment down below. Let me know if you've done the dopamine detox. What are your thoughts? Do you like the ideas that I've suggested and what I do personally? Do you do things, a little bit different? Let me hear it. I want to know. I love to hear the experience people have when they do this and the results that they achieve. So with that being said, I hope that you have gained some insight and inspiration from this video, and I will see you in the next one.